in starting this farm, and I really didn't think about all the licensing and taxes and all the stuff that you have to do with owning a business and operating like a farm in aquaculture and wanting to do all this innovation. I didn't realize that there'd be so much of that going on.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot of it. Yeah, there's a lot of it. So that takes up a lot of time. So it's good to have people doing both things. So my dad and brother sometimes are doing something back in Brunswick, and I might be up here on the phone with the Department of Marine Resources talking about a retail seafood license or something like that. So it's there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
When you mentioned that you want to do the thing with the professor and then the high school here,
Yeah.
like more spring summer time, I think that would be something like a good time to focus more, because like I think like our boss would like, I mean, if it's tied into UMaine and like it is like research, I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
So we will be doing is we'll be a lot of studies involve if you're trying to get a sense of how various areas do for oyster growth, and a lot of the bivalve shellfish are the same, have similar growth rates in different areas because they all eat the same food. So in trying to figure out like what area is best, usually what people will do is they will have a big bag of oysters and we'll measure the different size for a period of time of like, let's say 100.
Yeah.
Now the problem with that is you get kind of an average, but you can also extrapolate. There's other, and this is where I'm not in the School of Marine Sciences, and I kind of wish I knew more about this. But what Dr. Rawson wants to do is he wants to tag individual oysters with a number.
What? Aren't there like so many though?
Yeah. But he wants maybe have a separate bag and with all the numbered oysters, so you can track the growth rate of an individual oyster.
Uh-huh.
So you can say, all right, this oyster did well these months, and the other oysters didn't. Why did this oyster do better than the other oysters? And you could say, all right, maybe it's shaped this way, or maybe it started out smaller and then grew faster for some reason. Mm-hmm. And you can start once you have the data from the individual oysters and you can see similarities between them, you can get it's a next level kind of data and information you can get on the oyster growth. And I'd love to learn more about it, and I will definitely learn more about it. But that's what people want to do, because they've already done studies like that in the Damariscotta, but that's just one river, and all these rivers have very unique, distinct qualities, which is why the oysters taste so different. So research needs to be done on a lot of these rivers. So we're on the New Meadows River, and we're hopefully going to be doing some. It's looking like the New Meadows River will be emerging as a really popular place for aquaculture in Maine. So we're kind of ahead of the curve with doing a lot of research for that area.
It's really cool. Well, I have class at 4, so you guys can stay, but I have to head out. This was really nice to meet you and talk with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you need to go, you can call it a wrap at any point.
I'm good. I think I have somewhere to be at 5, but other than that, I'm good.
Cool.
All right.
So I just have one
I'll
or two more
see
questions.
you tomorrow.
Yes.
And bye.
Yeah. Bye. Nice talking.
You too.
How did you choose the New Meadows River? Was that just
Yeah.
where you
Yeah. Yeah. So we are. So there's a lot of factors that go into site choice, but my family is unique in that, and our kind of operation is unique in that a lot of the fishermen or aquaculture people on the Maine coast do not have a waterfront property anymore. It used to be that a lobsterman would have his dock from his house, and he'd be able to leave from his home and his dock. But now that property has become very expensive and pushing a lot of the local fishermen out of living on the water. We live on the water, which is huge.
Right.
So we can leave from my house, and we can go by boat to where our farm is. So choosing the location, the New Meadows, we're in this pretty large New Meadows River system. It's not really one river per se. It's got a lot of bays and estuaries here and there,
Right.
Coves and such. We're on this one area called Woodward Cove, and we go. It's a 5-minute boat ride to where our farm is. And so we chose that farm location because we thought it had good water flow. There had been farms that experimental farms there in the past, so we thought it would be, and there's other farms in the area, so we thought it would be good. And we developed a good relationship with the people that live on the land near it, so we thought it would be just a really good spot to put our farm for our first try. But now we're going to be branching out to 3 more locations to get a sense of the different areas of the New Meadows River, what factors go into it.
Right.
There's different, if you can have a lot of nutrients in one spot, but it could be like the end of a cove, and it could be a dead end where there's not a whole lot of flow. So it's good to have an area with a lot of flow and nutrients. There's factors that play into the temperature of the water, which is the largest factor on oyster metabolism.
Right.
So you have a warmer water, and the oysters are going to respirate faster and grow faster. And then if you have a colder water, it's the opposite. But that temperature can also affect the amount of nutrients available, and so there's a lot that goes into selecting a good site. I forgot about this. There's been some research done at the Darling Institute or the Darling Marine Center, and we've connected with them, and they're using satellite imagery to select the best areas for oyster farming, and we've actually had some access to kind of like I don't know if it's proprietary, but a pre-released kind of software that helps us select our farm through those guys, and actually met with one of the guys, Carter Newell, at a aquaculture conference in Boston, and we learned about this software that can help select the site. So we're using this software 100%, and we're banking on it that it'll help select some of the best locations in the New Meadows River, and that's where we're going to be putting our leases, our experimental, they're called limited purpose aquaculture licenses, for the next growing season.
So
Yeah, so there's that's a lot. That's a lot.
how do you figure out all this shit?
Figure out. Everyone is so. I mean, in the lobster industry, a lot of the commercial fisheries, people don't really want to help each other out. But in the oyster industry, I found that oyster farming and aquaculture, I found it's very different. Everyone's trying to learn together and grow together. Mm-hmm. It's not competition in the same sense because if it's not like if I catch all the lobsters in your area, you're not going to be able to have any lobsters to sell. Yeah. It's we all have our own product in our own leased area of the water, and we're all growing independently. So there's not as much competition in that regard. So a lot of people are just really willing to help. So I've made some awesome connections with different people, mm-hmm. and in connections with people in research in the industry. And people that sell the product, people that grow the product, people that breed the product, and we have friends all over, and even through the Department of Marine Resources and the people who are making the rules, we've got connections. So it's and everyone just seems like they want to help out our cause, and they like our image, and so we've been just hearing a lot from people, and then there's been a lot of research being done through the universities, and for example, I went to that aquaculture conference in Boston, learned a lot there, mm-hmm. and then learning from there's even in the states actually funding. For example, Dan Morse, there's the Maine Sea Grant is a state-funded program that will help small farms get going, and they have representatives that go out to the farms and help the farmers out. And I was just talking to a guy yesterday about his name's Dana Morse about scallop farming, because we would like to try that, but it's just a very difficult market right now because they have to be, if you're selling the full scallop, which is really what's most profitable, you have to have every batch that you sell, it has to be tested because of the biotoxic potential in that scallop, which makes it very difficult to farm at a small scale and to experiment with. That being said, I think we're still going to try to farm some scallops, and even if we can't really market them, there's still a lot that needs to be figured out about how to do it. So we want to be doing it. We want to be figuring it out. You know, it's a lot of the farming processes and stuff on the farm. It's kind of boring. I mean, if you're talking washing down cages, defiling bags, and whatever, or sorting oysters, it's kind of boring. But you know, doing the research and the experimentation, that's what makes it really fun. So that's what excites me, and so we try to incorporate as much of that as we could. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that might be a good wrapping point then.
Yeah. Full hour of it.
Yeah.
I was
For real.
just going.